when you think about like films of like Fellini or even Tom Ford and directors who frequently cast models in their films, and they make amazing films, and having those qualities of just knowing how to comport yourself in a frame, I think it lends itself sometimes to excellent acting, from the outside in rather than the inside out. And Fellini was someone who looked at stuff mostly from the outside in rather than the inside out. But that's a whole another discussion.
No, but I do think it's interesting because obviously, you know, as an actor, it is important to, you know, there's the emotional expression that carries through your physicality. And I suppose I think I had to unlearn a lot of bad habits coming from modeling, but I do think, you know, like I said, I think there is a certain amount of stuff that I was able to take with me that have served me very well in this business.
Just switching gears for a second and talk about love. One of the things
Le grand l'amour.
Yeah. See, speaks French as well. Little known fact about Caitriona Balfe. She could do the rest of the podcast in French. I'm not even going to attempt. But one of the things I find fascinating about Outlander is the way that it deals with romantic love, and the way that it feels, on the one hand, very relatable, but also very idealized and almost remote on the other. Like, somehow Jamie and Claire are these two like super beings who can somehow solve this mystery of the domestic and the erotic in this relationship that they have. And I think what makes it more remarkable is how they've endured this love affair through like time, space, grandchildren or whatever. And they've almost like the model of the ideal passionate romance, right? And while we strive for that, unfortunately, a lot of us kind of fall short of that ideal. And I'm particularly curious about your take on this, because recently you took the plunge yourself and got married. Do you think that Jamie and Claire set realistic expectations of what we should expect out of marriage? And what do you think our obsession with Jamie and Claire tells us about our own ideas of love in this modern age?
That's a lot to unpack, David Berry.
Unpack it for us.
You know, yes, of course, it's an aspirational love story, but I do think they're both very flawed, and I think their relationship is very flawed, and I think that's what keeps it relatable and, you know, takes it out of kind of the Disney sort of feel of things. And I think that, you know, there's a reason why so many people have loved this book series for 20 plus years and now love the TV show. And I think that, you know, in the sort of grand dressing of fantasy and the fact that there's time travel and that, you know, it's this metaphysical love, very often their relationship does feel very normal and they get frustrated with each other. They make mistakes. I mean, that scene that we just read, you know, you have two people who are coming from very different points of view and are very stubborn and quite stuck in their points of view, but they're able to break down that kind of barrier of stubbornness and you know, instead of just entrenching themselves further in each other's point of view, they learn from each other. And I think that that's, you know, I think that that's a good, a good example for everyone's relationship. And I don't know. I mean, I think every TV show and every film sets an unrealistic example for relationships. You know, it's like Sam and I joke all the time with Jamie and Claire. It's like they're the most codependent people. It's like they're about to go to the toilet and they're like, if I don't see you again, you know, I'll, you know, never stop loving you. It's like, right, we're just going to the bathroom. It's fine. I'll be back in 5 minutes, right. You know, and but I also think that why would we tune in otherwise? You know, we all live sort of lives that vacillate between mundane and something else. I don't know, but we want to be entertained and we want to see these big emotions played out. And I think it gives us all some kind of cathartic experience. And, as we know, there are many Outlander children out there that people love to come up and tell us about, that, this show has reinvigorated their love lives or whatever it is. And that's kind of amazing to be part of something that,
absolutely. Although
the fire.
Although I would love to see a scene where Jamie comes into a room and Claire is, sat reading, and Jamie will say, "Who ate all this hummus? Who ate my hummus? Because I had a tub in there, and there's only you and me here. So who had all this hummus?" Or that kind of those kind of things. That's marriage right there. Who ate all this hummus?
Sam and I tried to put some funny things in. Like, he has decided that Claire is a terrible cook. So every time we do any scenes where I hand food, he tries to make these little grimaces. So it's like a running joke we have, and I don't know if it ever actually makes it into the cut, but yeah, that's a bit more honest. And why does nobody ever go to the bathroom on TV? Well, like, you never see that happen. I mean, not that we want to, but it's like,
just for thinking time as well. Just for kind of, oh God, okay, the English are coming, right? I'm just going to go to the bathroom. Don't be in there an hour again, because that last time is ridiculous.
Oh my goodness,
we'd all like to see that.
Yeah, I mean, see, there you go. You unpacked it, I'm throwing you all the complex questions, because I think it is a complex thing. Almost kind of disagree with what you say about Outlander, and it's the way that
I didn't realize I was coming on here to be disagreed with. No.
We're not just here to tell you how wonderful you are, because you are wonderful. But I think what's special about Outlander is it does what a lot of dramas don't do. A lot of dramas want to show conflict within relationships, and that's how they generate drama. I'm getting a lot of grimacing from you, Caitriona.
It's like, have you watched prior seasons? Like, Jamie and Claire have quite a bit of conflict every so often. Not now. Now they're settled into their marriage, I think. But this is the beauty of this relationship as well. It's like, this is what Diane says, this is an examination of a marriage. It's not necessarily an examination of how two people get together. It's about how two people stay together, which I think is
exactly. Which I think most drama is about how most people are being torn apart. A lot of dramas a lot about, like, examine what's dysfunctional about relationships, whereas Outlander celebrates a very functional relationship, which in its core seems almost antithetical to drama. But a lot of people find the drama in that. And as you say, there is drama in that. And I think a lot of people take a lot of thrill from seeing Jamie and Claire work out their problems in a very, maybe it's not idealistic way, but a very life-affirming way, a very love-affirming way.
Well, I think that's where a lot of their passion comes from. And I think, as you were talking about, that earlier scene, it's like they are so physical with each other, but it's on a very equal footing. And I think that is what also makes them so interesting to watch, is that they are both these volcanic personalities that when they come together, it's just like so explosive in all the best ways. And it's I don't know. I think their messiness and their imperfection is so, like, key to what's so interesting about them. But it's also, I don't think we're striving to show people perfection. I don't know.
I think a lot of people really admire or look towards their sex life. The sex life between Jamie and Claire is, I think, is a lot of the reason people really idealize this couple. It's so passionate. In spite of the length of time they spent together, they can find any reason to get it on. And a lot has been spoken about Outlander's